Good morning from a very, very sunny blue sky Thailand, which is so good to see because honestly it's been pouring rain and overcast for the last like 3 weeks that we've been here. So very happy to be in the sunshine. Now, this video I actually filmed yesterday, but the whole intro, I didn't realize that you can't hear a word I'm saying because it was so windy. So I'm just gonna refilm that little intro again and then we can get into the video. So if you've clicked this video, I'm assuming that maybe you are planning to go to Thailand soon, or just thinking about coming and want to see what it's like, or you've got a trip coming up, you want to know what the vibe is like post-COVID. I mean post-COVID, when we're still in COVID, but like post-lockdown, post-travel restrictions, I guess is the more accurate thing to say. So yeah, I've seen quite a lot of videos that say like, oh yeah, Thailand is back. It's about to get really sunny. I'm just gonna stand here. Thailand is back. Thailand is, everything's busy again. Like all the bars are open, it's pumping, the vibe is back. But like honestly, I disagree. Maybe if you're in Patong Beach, in Bangkok, in like the busy areas, it's gonna feel really busy and bars are gonna be back open and there's gonna be more tourists there. But everywhere we've gone has definitely felt more quiet, definitely felt like still very much like we're in a pandemic, which we are. Right now we're on an island called Koh Yao Noi and it is so quiet here. There's hardly any tourists. Basically everything is shut. I mean, there's restaurants and stuff open, cafes open, but you'll walk past and there's no one in there, or there's one person in there. A lot of hotels are still closed. Yeah, it's definitely a very different Thailand now to the one that I visited at the beginning of 2020, which is expected for sure. But yeah, let's get into the video I filmed yesterday. So we were in Phuket for 2 weeks. First week we were in a suburb called Nai Han that had a lot of locals still out and about. All of the restaurants were open, all the bars were open, probably only 1 or 2 people in each place, but still they were open. It was still pretty lively. There was a lot of people out on the streets. Then we were in a suburb called Bang Tao. In the center of the suburb where all of the locals hang out, it was really busy. All the bars and stuff, all the cafes had heaps of people in them. But then we went down to the beach and that's where all the tourists hang out, and it was dead. Pretty sad to see because all of the beach clubs were closed, all of the bars were closed. It looks like there's been no one there for 2 years. I'm really hoping that they open up again soon. I'm hoping that more people start traveling here soon. But yeah, it is pretty quiet, and that can be a good thing, that can be a bad thing. It kind of just depends on how you travel and what you want when you're traveling. So I'm traveling with my boyfriend and we're staying in like hotels and Airbnbs, which is fine because it's not like we need to be out and about seeing people, meeting people. But if I was here by myself, I would be pretty bored. There really isn't that much to do unless you just want to be by yourself all the time. Yes, there are other tourists around, but most of them are a bit older, staying in hotels rather than like in hostels. I think a lot of hostels still aren't even open. So if you're kind of like looking for a fun solo travel, maybe now isn't the best time unless you're like super happy being completely independent and maybe going a few days without talking to people. Another thing is that a lot of tours and day trips and other like touristy stuff aren't really running at the moment. There obviously are still a few companies doing things, but it's very, very limited. And also same with like ferries and buses. They're on really limited timetables as well. So for example, we're going down to an island called Koh Lipe, and normally there's like 3 or 4 ferries a day that you can take to get there. The only way we can get there now is by getting a 4-hour minibus and then a 1-hour speedboat. And it took us like 2 hours to figure out how to do that because everything online is really, really out of date. Nothing's been updated for the current times, I guess. So it is a little bit harder to travel at the moment. However, that's when you get the flip side of things. Now everything here is so quiet and lovely because there's not heaps and heaps of tourists everywhere. When we were in Nai Han, we walked up to this beautiful viewpoint at sunrise and we were the only people there. Normally it's super packed. We're going down to that island called Koh Lipe, which is so beautiful, but it gets so busy during like December, January normally. However, at the moment we're thinking actually this might be a good time to go there because there's not many people and it's known for having beautiful crystal clear blue water where you can swim with little fishies. We're thinking that the fact that there hasn't been that many tourists for the last 2 years is going to really work in our favor in terms of the nature coming out. So yes, there are upsides and there are downsides to traveling at the moment. It is amazing coming to places like this. Right now I'm just like walking down the street and it's like this beautiful beach, nobody around, no pollution, nothing, hardly any cars. That is lovely. I love that part of it. But it's also really sad to walk past all of these businesses that are closed, all of these cafes that only have one person in it, all of these hotels that are closed, all these people who have been out of work for like 2 years. That's really tough. I don't know, it's like there's nothing we can do about it obviously other than just like come here and spend money, but it's hard to see how many places have had to close. So in terms of COVID restrictions, most places you have to wear a mask everywhere. I'm on an empty street with nobody around, so I'm not wearing a mask, but when I'm in town or when I'm around a bunch of people, I'll put it on, obviously. Obviously you also wear it like in restaurants, in bars when you're not eating and drinking, in shops. You also have to do a temperature check when you go into like 7-Eleven and supermarkets. To get ferries anywhere, to do tours, you have to be double vaxxed, you have to show proof of vaccination, you've got to show your passport. They're handling it all pretty well and it makes you feel pretty safe. Most of the business owners and staff have to be double vaxxed. So yeah, it is definitely worth coming here. It's not super busy, but everything is open to an extent. You can travel here. In fact, I would say if you can, definitely travel here. Spend your money here with these people who haven't been seeing a lot of tourists, who haven't been seeing a lot of business for the last few years. Cities like Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Phuket, they're definitely going to be busier, but I would say it is truly worth coming out to the islands, going to smaller communities, sort of just taking this time while there's fewer tourists around to really enjoy the place, get to know the locals. Yeah, I'm so glad that we decided to come here. If I was traveling alone, I think I would be having a completely different experience. But yeah, fingers crossed in the next couple of months, things will start opening again, people will start traveling again, hostels will open, and we're gonna get more of that like young travel culture vibe going on, which I would say is what Thailand, at least for me, is kind of known for. Thailand and the rest of Southeast Asia just seems to be like a really fun young backpacker place, and that vibe is probably gone at the moment, at least where I've been. So fingers crossed it all kind of comes back soon. Wait, here's a perfect example. This sign says Tourist Information Center, and look at it, it's just like, I don't think anyone's been in that house for 2 years. So that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like things are open, but it's not back to normal by any stretch of the imagination. That's really what our experience has been like the past 3 weeks that we've been here, which has been the end of November, beginning of December. No, honestly, now there is Omicron variant like circling around. There have been a few cases of COVID on this island that we're on. There's every chance that tomorrow we're gonna wake up and be in lockdown. So everything I'm saying could completely change, but at the moment that is what it's like in Thailand. Definitely come here if you are considering a holiday. Even if you just come for 1 week, choose an island, find a cheap little Airbnb, rent a scooter, fang around, go to all the different restaurants. Like, that's a perfect 1 week away, and you'll be helping out all these businesses that haven't seen people in ages. If you end up coming to Thailand, have an amazing time. I'm so excited for you. Hopefully you'll be traveling soon. Get those stamps back in the passport. And yeah, looking forward to everything opening up again. Oh, it's really sunny right there. Okay, bye.